Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry, I've not done one for ages. Obviously, with Christmas, New Year, it's a bit of a nightmare. I was away last week, as most of you who follow me on Instagram know. I wanted to do loads of content last week, but the internet wasn't brilliant, so I did take a couple of trades. But because I was entering and there was a bit of a delay of it going through, my emotions got involved and I ended up losing a few percent. So I just kind of held out till yesterday. But yeah, so we're back on anyway. This video is going to be kind of why I've gone for the Pro Plus package on TradingView, which we'll get into in a minute, and B, kind of top down analysis on Euro USD. So those mainly them two parts. We'll jump through it. So the main reason I went for the Pro Plus on TradingView was for this feature. So up here, follow my cursor, we've got this single screen there. It's obviously, we've just got the one screen on show. But with the Pro Plus, you can have four screens. You can have them kind of whichever way you want. I mean, I don't know how that would work with your charts, really. It wouldn't look great. So you can have three screens if you want. You can have your main entry one down here and your higher time frames up there. But I kind of stick to this four screener. So, and you can have different screens. So obviously top left, you've got Euro USD. Top right, I can just click on the box and you just type in, USD, JPY or whatever, click that in. So you can watch four separate screens at once if that's what you require. I don't have it like that because I'm trying to only trade EU. Lately, in December, I only traded Euro USD, and I think I took one trade on USD JPY, and the one pair Euro USD still gave me over 21k for the month just on one pair. So you don't really need to trade too many. But either way, yeah. So you can have four different pairs going on the screen at once. So if there's some of you out there that trade four or more pairs, you can mix it up, and the ones that are getting near your zones for entry, you can put them all in one screen, so you've not got to kind of worry too much, and you can just see it all in one instead of flicking screens. I personally think it's worth the money for the extra bit, just because I do. A lot of people don't, but I do top-down analysis for my entries. So, which we're going to go through now. So I'll just change this screen back to Euro USD, and we'll get on. Yeah. So they're all Euro USD. Top left, I normally have the weekly. So we'll jump down to that in a minute. Top right, I'll have the daily, Euro USD daily, which we're on. Bottom left is the 1 hour. So the bottom two are really your entry kind of criteria windows. And then bottom right will be the 10-minute, wherever it is. I'll zoom out. There we go. Right, so that's the 10-minute. So you can kind of see that's your 10-minute, that's your one, that's your daily, and that's your weekly. The best thing is, because obviously if you're entering on the bottom right, which is the 10-minute, that's my entry. If you're entering on 15-minute, 5-minute, whatever, you can give yourself an extra kind of stability in your emotions of why you're actually selling at that point. You can look across to the 1 hour, up to the daily, or even the weekly of why you're actually selling. And if it's hit like a certain area, say on the daily, you know that it might just shoot down on your entry level for a few hours and you might be able to get in. So, but yeah, and you can, so if we just put a line, say this is, let's actually do an actual line. So there's roughly a trend line. So you can right click it, click on the line, right click it, and you can sync it in layout. So as you can see, it's gone from that layout to every other layout. If I zoom into the daily, you'll see it obviously, but zooming in will take you to the 1 hour anyway. So that line has gone across all four screens now, and same with everything. if you put your entry, if you enter on EU sells or buys now, you can sync in layout and it will show up. It might not show up on the daily and the weekly because it will be too small. Obviously, you can make it massive and then it will show up on the lot, but it's only worth it really for the bottom two screens, which is my entry level and my kind of minor time frame. So, but yeah, we'll get rid of that anyway and we'll jump into it. So top left, weekly, click on this little box here and that'll give you the full screen. So as you can see, we're clearly downtrend overall. We've got the highest point that broke the low, which is actually this point here. That'll be the weekly. When that breaks, then we'll be looking at overall buys weekly, but that might not be for a couple of years, to be fair, with it being the weekly. And that broke that. So that broke that. So we're actually the last force that pushed through this major weekly break here was this top, because as you can tell, those of you who follow me and know that I do kind of supply and demand and I do premium and discount areas, that is basically my strategy. That's how I made like 16% in 3 weeks, is just supply and demand mixed with premium discount. And obviously you're looking for, you've got liquidity, you've got imbalances below and above, and yeah, mix it all together. And I've got a pretty solid strategy, I'd say. Well, it's enough to take money from the markets. This top area is a supply zone on the weekly. I don't know why it's disappeared. Let's just click another one. I've got to go through is it gonna? No, let's just put it fresh. Right, so 2 seconds, guys. I'll just change the color of this because my supply areas are green. Right, so that's the supply zone, and that's been mitigated. So we've bounced off that and we broke the push that pushed it into the supply area. We've actually broke, which is this line here. So we broke through that. So the overall top now is this top. So when I find my tool, 2 seconds, move me out of the way a sec. Right, so over here I've got my premium discount set up. So that was the point that's mitigated. That looked like it's took the liquidity above this wick. So we'll go from here. That to me is the last down force. I can't think of the word. You know what I mean? That's the last kind of trend. That's the weekly trend. And obviously, before we want to look for massive sells, you can sell in between zones, but obviously for big sells, you want to wait until we get into this green area. So when we approach this green area, it will be it's a discount prices. So right click here, right click on that, sync in layout. So we want that to sync. So that should have gone over to the daily and the hourly and the 10-minute. So based on here, the first kind of supply zone that we can see on this weekly is that. So that's the one that we kind of want to tap in, and we want to see if it is going to reverse and start selling. We'll notice at this point. So you can sync that in layout, and that is pretty much, that is done with the weekly. So go down to the bottom, it will come back up, press the middle button. And as you can see, the bottom screens are red because we're currently in the red area. So, and I've synced it to layout. I don't know why the daily's not. I wonder if, oh no, it's the same supplier. Let me just double check. Let me unsync it and sync it again. That's never happened before, which is typical because I'm on camera. But hey ho, right. Right, syncing layout. Oh, it's still not done it, which is Really strange. I'll figure that out. But yeah. Well, either way, you can see on the hourly that we're still in. I'm going to lock it so I don't move it on the smaller time frames. So, and another good thing is when you're hovering on one time frame, you can see whereabouts the cursor is, the line of the cursor on the other. So the center of this supply area on the weekly, if you look to my right screen, the daily, because for some reason the actual thing hasn't come up, we'll do it manually, and it's gone to this point here. So we'll jump on the daily quickly. We'll get on the big screen. I'm sorry, this will be quite a long video, but hopefully it gives you some knowledge and you can adapt it to your plan. So we are actually, let's just double check. That looks like the high that broke the low. So yeah, so that is the main area. So we'll just get that across there. We won't sink this because the weekly is actually sunk. So, right. So yeah, that's the daily. Basically, we want the daily to, if I just zoom in a little bit, I'll just draw the path. This is what we're looking for EU in possibly a couple of weeks. If it does what we want, it'll go down a bit. I'm actually in a sell at the minute. I'm hoping to just take a little bit from the market. And then we'll take the top out. We'll start going into the green area, which I've just told you is discount pricing. So, and if it wants to rebound off this supply area, it might rebound and go through it. So that's one option, and then it will tap a higher supply area. Or what I'm kind of hoping, obviously you always hope in the market because you don't know what will happen. I'm hoping it will go up here, it will take the high out, and then it will start to, it will set the chalk up, so the change of character, and then we'll start sinking. So I'm not looking for major sells up until this point. So we'll just remove that for now because we don't want the screen to be too messy. Right, so middle again. Let's go to, and you want to keep them all on screen so you can actually see why you're going for a certain bias. Let's move this. I'll put a couple of pop-ups on this video as well for other videos that will help you out, and also breakdowns. I'll put them in the top left or right somewhere. Right, so top left is weekly. We know we're potentially buying into a sell area, and top right is the daily. You can see a bit clearer of kind of the trend on that. So now we'll jump on the hourly. I'll move my ugly mug out of the way again. Right. If this is going to work. Right, here we are. So this is the hourly. Obviously, this could potentially buy into that now. The only reason I'm selling is because the market has left a lot of imbalance down here, and it has left a lovely it's left a lovely demand area there. That white candle there, this is on the hourly. That is a lovely demand. So potentially we could sell into that, and that's kind of what I'm hoping. My only worry is, because obviously those of you who have been watching my videos or my stories, this area here, it's not gonna, yes it is, there it is. That area is in balance. No wicks have penetrated that hourly area. And you can see in between, there's imbalances in between. So I personally would like to take some of this imbalance out before we then buy into the sell zone, which you know is this green area. Well, we're hoping it is if the trend tells us. So yeah, my only worry at the minute, so I am in a sell, and I had a couple of, I had one loss yesterday, and obviously last week with the internet and the emotions, it just weren't happening. I've had an awesome December, but January hasn't started off great. But hey ho, So I reckon this will take out this trend line. So this is actually liquidity. There is a lot of money above this. My stop loss does cover this, so I'm not overly worried. If it takes it out, I'm hoping it will sink. And then we've created a trend line here. So, I mean, the guys, this is basically my strategy. So, take note, because this does make me a good percentage, most of the time. But yeah, so I'm personally looking, or I think that it's going to. I got in a bit early, admittedly. Emotions got involved. I got in a bit early. It is what it is. Shit hits the fan, shit hits the fan. Life goes on. So I'm thinking we're going to take this out. We might even take the high out. So that liquidity has been took. We'll give the buyers a bit of false kind of trend line buy there, and then we should sink through, and then potentially we'll go through this liquidity line there to take that liquidity out. We might even reject near this kind of demand area, and then hopefully break through it. And then if I can and then potentially hit into this demand area, take the low out. Voice went there. That will go sometimes. But yeah, and then start making higher highs and possibly buy back into that area. That is what I'm looking for Euro USD at the minute. My chair decided to roll back more than I wanted. Yeah, there's almost no point me showing you the 10-minute now, because I'm not looking for an entry. I am in, but I was in due to emotions. But I've covered just in case it does do what I'm showing you now. So I've covered my stop loss with that. So yeah, and then obviously you can click on all of these, right click on all of these, and sync and layout if you want. Every all the not the platforms, but every TradingView account you can do that. It doesn't have to be Pro Plus to sync, but obviously you can only get, I think it's 2. You can only get 2 screens on the standard. It might be 2 screens on the standard TradingView or the premium one. But yeah, obviously if you've got the split screens, you can then sync it in layout. But anyway, enough of me waffling. So there's no need for me to sync that in layout. So pretty much, yeah. The only ones I will sync, actually, so you can see it, is I will sync this one. See, it just appears, that one as well. That's underneath. So there's a trend line. So all the retail buyers, they will be waiting there, and they'll want to buy on this trend line over here somewhere. We can put this one in. Shall we put this one in? Yeah, they are. And so it works pretty well for me personally. I know my mate Steve. He only sticks to one screen, which works for him, which is brilliant. I just found like 4 screens on one pretty good, and you can zoom into any one screen and leave it on that one screen if you want. So if you're waiting for the perfect entry and you know what bias you've got, you can drop down to your entry screen, which for me is the 10-minute, the bottom right. I can click on that and just make that go big. In fact, let's just sync this. Yeah, let's hover over here if it lets me. So yeah, and then we've got big screen, and then potentially you can, obviously don't watch your screens. There's no need to watch, just set an alert, or you might have to watch it for a couple of candles, depending what your strategy is. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, just an overview. The Pro Plus on TradingView, I can get 4 screens. I'm not sure if I can get any more. So we'll have a look. Is it going to let me? I'll have to zoom out, I think. Let's have a look, see if it gives me. No, it doesn't give me the 6. Let's have a look now, see. No, it might be just up to 4 screens for the Pro Plus, which is fine, because my monitor is only 27 inch, I think. So, and that works for me. One pair, 4 screens in one screen. click on any to make it full size, perfect. And yeah, you get not the perfect entries, because you'll never get the perfect entries, but you'll get good entries, and you'll know why you're entering on that screen, because that top left is buying or selling, or you know that it's coming to a certain area. But yeah, hope that helps you out. Obviously, you can take as much as you want from this video if you watch the video, if you watch all of it. But yeah, and if you can, drop me a follow at the Rule of 7 on Instagram. I put daily daily stories on, obviously, life as well as trading and everything. And I'll always tell my Instagram followers about new videos on YouTube. So, and obviously subscribe to this channel if you can. That'd be awesome. Get in with the algorithm, and it'll push me up a little bit higher. And yeah, it's just popped up. So if you want, perfect. So Pro gives you 2 screens, 2 charts per screen if you like. Basic only gives you the 1. Pro Plus, which I'm currently on, is 4 screens, and if you want Premium, you can have 8. But that is 8 screens, and that to me looks manic. But there's no necessity for that. 4 screens does me. But anyway, yeah, let's close that down. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.